I'm Dave Greenwood, and this is Overcoming Distractions. If you are an adult with ADHD, a busy professional, an entrepreneur, a high achiever, or just need some strategies to navigate your adult ADHD, you're in the right place. Who am I? I'm an entrepreneur with ADHD and the author of 2 books, Overcoming Distractions and Overcoming Burnout. I coach and mentor people just like you, and together we navigate the ups and downs of adult ADHD. From getting out of our own way to helping people just like you thrive in the workplace. That's what I do. Want more info on working with me? Hit overcomingdistractions.com. Ready? Let's get to today's podcast. All right, what's going on, everybody? It's Dave, and you are once again listening to Overcoming Distractions. And speaking of distractions, we are going to dig into this for a few minutes because that's the name of the game, right? Trying to figure out what distracts us, what takes us off track, what gets in our way, what eliminates good progress, right? Or what have you. So we're going to talk about distractions today. And I'm going to tell you, if we are ever going to thrive with adult ADHD, and to a greater extent as a busy professional, entrepreneur, self-employed, self-awareness, I believe, is mission critical. And we really need to talk more about this, is identifying the things that that get in the way of us living a cool life with ADHD. In the past, we've talked about owning our ADHD, and one of the ways is understanding what works well for us and what can get in our way. So one big part, in my humble opinion, is when it comes to self-discovery and adult ADHD and the things that turn our days into train wrecks. If we can name them, we can work on them. If you're on a path of self-discovery, which I very strongly suggest that you do and continue to do, I believe it becomes easier to thrive with adult ADHD when we actually know what's going on. We have ups and downs in life. We have different situations with our business and our career and our family, and I think this needs to be an ongoing effort if you're an adult with ADHD, especially if you're a high achiever, a busy professional, executive, etc., and you just seem to have that different brain. The age-old joke when it comes to ADHD is the squirrels in our life, oh, look, a squirrel, and like you've never heard that before, right? If you haven't, then I'm not sure where you've been. But distractions are all around us, people, both internal and external. And some of them you might not even be aware of or even think they're a distraction. And we're going to dig into that. So managing your distractions and being in control, I believe, is just one of the best ways to thrive with ADHD, stay on track, and ultimately be successful and happy and less stressed. Now, some are more difficult than others, but the key here is to name them, understand how they're getting in your way, and begin to own them or take back control in some way. So, for your reference today, I'm going to go through some of the more well-known distractions that we always think of, and I'm going to point out some of the things we may not think of as distractions, but clearly are once you think about it. And before you at me, okay? Each one of these bullet points I'm going to discuss could be a separate podcast. But my goal right now, I just want you to get some self-awareness about it, what might be distracting you, because from there, I think you can begin to figure out how to minimize these distractions in business and in life. I just want to hear, I want you to hear that, going through this list that either, oh yeah, it's a problem, or, I could do better with this. But the bottom line, once again, if you're naming distractions, you can begin to work on them. I'm going to split this up into 2 shorter episodes, so stay tuned for part 2. But the first part of this discussion, I want to just kind of go through real quick kind of our well-known distractions. I'm confident these are nothing new to you, but sometimes we just need to kind of think about these and figure out how they may be affecting our lives and our daily life and our business and our career and our job and getting things done and everything else. So let's rattle through these real quick. And then, like I said, we're going to go to, I want you to stay tuned for part 2 of this, which is coming up very quickly. We'll stay on this subject. So first one, obviously, emails and notifications, right? Start thinking about the emails, the notifications you get, how you get notifications. Constant email alerts and notifications can divert your attention from everything and just generally getting shit done, right? You know this. My advice is you can start to figure out how to minimize these. And if you just schedule an hour, sit down there with your phone, and just start going through your phone and start shutting off unnecessary notifications. It's not just email. You probably, if you have a couple dozen apps on your phone, you may realize that you have a bunch of notifications that are being sent to you all the time. So go in and just start to kind of slide that thing back for unnecessary notifications. I mean, do you really need a notification from, your airline every day that there's a sale? Not really. So not unless you're actually planning a vacation. But these things are just, they're installed as a default to send you a notification. So schedule that hour. Those spam emails, here's another one, this is what I've done. The spam emails, sometimes you're just too lazy to do anything with them, so you just keep deleting them and they keep coming in. If you believe it's safe, click the unsubscribe button. Or the other thing is, I've got people I know that have just put me on their email list, like on a networking event or something. And they grab your card or what have you, and they've decided to dump all their emails into their regular email newsletters or what have you. So what I've done, because I don't want to totally offend them, is I go in and create a rule to actually automatically delete them. So that's my little secret. So don't tell anybody. Keep that to yourself. All right, next. Huge distraction. Meetings. You know it. Okay, frequent, lengthy meetings can disrupt your workflow, the concentration, take you out of the zone. It takes forever to get back in the zone. Maybe you get more crap at that meeting to do, right? So, number one, if you're the offender, then take a look at the meetings you're scheduling and figure out how you can conduct less meetings or group them so you're not in meetings every day, okay? Not everybody likes this, but I do like getting meetings out of the way, and then that leaves me those kind of days that I can actually get stuff done without actually being in a meeting, then going back to my desk, and then being in a meeting and going back to my desk, and I hate that. So next, figure out if you actually need to be in a meeting. And if you're working in an office, you're probably going to have to tread lightly on this one, but kind of talk to your boss or your coworkers or the client or what have you. But again, don't be the offender and call unnecessary meetings. All right, next, phone calls. We can get stuck. Now, unless your job is working the phone, like you're a customer service professional or you're in business development or what have you, I understand that. So don't misunderstand me on this one. But for most of us, or a lot of us, unexpected calls or those excessive phone interruptions can just be a huge distraction. And you don't have to pick up the phone as soon as it rings. Unless you have kids and it's the school, or maybe you have aging parents or other caregiving responsibilities. Or like I said, the phone is your job. My suggestion is to be selective on how you pick up the phone. The next thing is you don't have to return that text message and get wrapped up in an endless thread of text messages going back and forth. You don't have to do the stop, drop, and roll, which we have discussed many times. You're going to have to be the judge on how to handle this, like I said, based on your family, your other obligations, your environment. But, one of my favorite sayings is that nobody will miss you for an hour. So just remember, when your phone rings, you don't have to get wrapped up in the phone or the text message or what have you. So again, these are just things to be thinking of. Social media, checking social media during your work hours can be time wasting, and this is a big duh, right? Again, I'm trying to get you thinking here, all right? And I know a lot of you that maybe your lunch goes a little too long because you get stuck on Facebook or Instagram or whatever you're watching. So if it's becoming a problem, then you're going to need to log out of these apps when you're working. And if it's a bigger problem, you may even need to delete them. At the very least, go in and adjust those notifications, like we have discussed a few minutes ago. The next thing is if you can slowly develop a new habit, maybe grabbing a book during your lunch break, finding something relatively educational on TV at night. YouTube isn't a bad thing as long as you can pull yourself away from it. But again, if you're just watching, videos of car crashes and other things, then that's probably not the best use of your time. That's distracting. And I get it. Some of you want to see who's wearing what have you with the Golden Globes, but I'm here to tell you it's not that important, okay? Some people may disagree. Noise. Loud environments, noisy colleagues, it can make it a challenge to focus. And I don't know about you, but when I'm trying to get deep work done, I need complete silence. You put me in an underground bank vault and I'm the happiest dude on the planet, okay? So if noise continues to distract you, you're going to have to figure this out. You're going to have to find an environment that limits these distractions. And, figure out where the noise is going to be slowly, that's not the right word, just lower, okay? One example is if you work for somebody else and you're in a noisy place, maybe you could actually have your desk moved. Maybe you could ask for noise-canceling headphones, or if you don't want to ask for that accommodation, then maybe go purchase some. I have to tell you, this was one of the really best presents I got, was some noise-canceling headphones. So, and if you get the right ones, believe me, the outer world doesn't exist. So it is pretty cool. All right, multitasking is a distraction, people. That's right. Don't tell me you're good at multitasking, because I disagree. Juggling the multiple tasks simultaneously, it reduces efficiency, and deep down inside, I really do believe you know this. But like I said, some of you think you're really good at multitasking, but you're actually just spreading yourself too thin. And when you get right down to it, it's just another distraction. This is why I believe working on one thing at a time is ideal. It's as simple as telling yourself to, not as simple, okay? Don't get me wrong. But you can start small over time, and you can get good at working on one thing. Yes, it took me a while, but now I love it, and that is the way I get the most effective work done, best quality. I can get in a zone. If I'm going all over the place, I get nothing done. So, and it'll actually feel good when you actually complete something and then move on to the next. So, okay, procrastination. You know it. Putting off tasks, delaying. So many people come to me and said, Dave, I'm procrastinating. I need some help one-on-one. It creates unnecessary stress, as you well know. And if you think about it, procrastination is nothing more than feeling a million distractions because you're putting off important tasks and probably doing several other things in their place that probably were not a priority. Now, go back and listen to my recent episode about procrastination. It's maybe a couple episodes ago where we chat about this, because I think not only are there misconceptions about procrastination, but there's some very bad advice out there on social media about procrastination. Next, we touched on it a little bit. Browsing the internet, okay? Aimless surfing, getting caught up in that non-work related stuff. This is another big duh. Okay, if you're doing it, take note. Some of us hop on YouTube, like we mentioned. For many of us, it's nothing more than a rabbit hole, but you can get great stuff off YouTube, and I get it. I hit YouTube as well. My podcasts are on YouTube. But if we're watching garbage, then that's just not productive. So if there's a problem on your internet browsing, there actually are website blockers. There's various plugins you can use that don't allow you to actually get on the web. Different browsers have them, so you just need to check it out. And I know people that have actually locked down their access to the internet because it's become a problem. If it is a huge problem, then you're going to have to be a little proactive in just locking yourself down. So try and work offline if that is a possibility, okay? You can also use it as a reward system, like the Pomodoro. So I know a lot of people that they work for 20 minutes or 30 minutes, and then they give themselves 5 minutes on the web or YouTube or what have you on that little, timing of the break. But it's important for you to respect when the alarm goes off and tells you to get back to work. And that's one of the keys to doing that. So, all right. I know you know these distractions. This is a refresher. I want you thinking. I want you to be able to finish this podcast and say, yeah, you know what? The phone calls are getting in my way, or I spent way too much time on YouTube the other day. I got to figure this out. Okay. All right. Next time, I'm going to go over some of the less obvious distractions that you might not think of firsthand as an actual distraction. One of them, I'll give you a preview that comes up for me all the time, is hunger. Okay? Hunger is a distraction. But we're going to go over more because we're going to split this episode up. So, all right, go think about it. Think about what I just said. See if these things are bugging you. Let's figure out a way to minimize these distractions. All right, you want to find me? It's overcomingdistractions.com. And if you need a little extra help in sorting through things like this or other challenges that are getting in your way, book a quick chat with me. All right, we'll catch you next time.